that's my bow. And so I usually, so you can pull it, and if it has, look at that, that's like the perfect amount of snapback right there. You pull it, and look, that's great. So that's what you're looking for usually in a bow. Now a quiver, mine is a little interesting, but I had no idea how I was gonna make a quiver. I'm like, I could hollow out a piece of wood, blah 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 blah, but that would take so long. So what I did was, I thought it was pretty smart, but I got a piece of PVC pipe, and then it's about 2 feet long. So it's about 2 feet long, and I tied a belt around it, and then on the bottom of the belt, instead of the typical thing, it's these 2 loops of metal, which actually help me in some way, because I have a stick that's really short, and the tip is sharpened off. It's tapered, and then what this does is that it fits right in the end, thus sealing the piece of PVC. Otherwise, you could use a cap or any other piece of PVC tubing or capping to keep your arrows from falling out. Or you could, you could do that. I would recommend that, actually, getting a piece of PVC cap to cap it off. I would also recommend getting a thicker or wider tube, because as you can see, this one can barely fit my finger, and so not many arrows can fit in it. But this is good for 3 small arrows, decent sized arrows, and it's a lighter version. You can make it as heavy as you want, actually, but I prefer lighter stuff. It's easier to run with, or easier to quick fire or something, you know. So that basically is it for is my quiver. But what I do to get my quiver on my shoulders is that I just grab that end of the belt that I showed you earlier and slide it on the end, and creating a loop, because the friction of my shoulder, if it's there, creates that. See, look at that. That's that actually works. It doesn't slide up the rest of the stick because of that knot right there, and so it provides the perfect size loop for around my neck and shoulders. And so that does it for the quiver. I'm gonna lay that right next to my bow right there. And so what remains? Arrows. Arrows are particularly tricky. But if you find a long enough stick, let's see. I mean, this could do for an arrow, I think. But there we go. This could do for an arrow. You just have to hack that off, and then maybe hack that off. It's a little bent, but it would do for a thicker arrow. Doesn't break easy. Doesn't break easily. It's pretty sturdy arrow. The only problem is that it's straight and then curves, and so that would be a little tricky. So instead of a stick, let's discard that over there. Instead of a stick, I used pieces of bamboo. So I used pieces of bamboo stalks. So these are about 2.5 feet or 2 and 18 inches. So I don't know how much that is. I'm not doing the math. It's summer break, okay guys? Summer vacation, I don't do math. But I got these, and then I just, you know, cut little notches like I did for the bow. I cut little notches in the ends of these so that it fits on the string. And this is my favorite arrow, so I kind of made a tip for it. And these are relatively straight. They're thick down here, but then they get narrower up there. So towards the tip it gets narrower. And I got to sharpen the rest of these, but what I did was, since that was small enough, I stuck it in the pencil sharpener. Yeah, Mom wasn't too happy about that, but you know, we moved past that. But interesting thing about these, this one actually, funny thing about these woods is that you find really random stuff. Like I found one of my dog's chew toys that was supposed to be in my house in the middle of these woods with the end like viciously bitten off. And my dog isn't allowed back here in these woods, and he couldn't even if he wanted to because there's an electric fence. And he's not even that vicious, so he couldn't have torn off the end. Then I just found this ball that's like really old, but it's like it's hollowed out and there's dirt in it and it's nasty. And then I also, back here, it was funny, I found this little rubber tip that looks like it is like for an arrow or something. I'm like, oh, someone might have missed it. And it's not sharp, but what's fun is that it fits right on the end of that. So I usually use this as one of my arrows. Yeah, go figure. I mean, it doesn't really match with the rest of it, but who cares? It looks so boss, doesn't it? But, so yeah, I found weird stuff back here. So anyway, find your arrows. I only have 3 because that's what fits in. Like I said earlier, that is a very small tube. So what I do is I put them all in here. Uh-oh, it's falling off. And my entire quiver just fell over. That was unfortunate. Ugh. Now there's leaves all over it. Come on, man. So, let's try this again, shall we? Let's stick these in the end. Alright, like so. Alright, so they don't go all the way in. They kind of go into about right there. And I frankly don't care because it's easier to pull them out. They're a little tight in there. They're stuck because of the friction. But if I really need to, I can grab them really quick. It goes around my shoulders fairly easy. And I just carry that, my bow. Or I sling it around my shoulders too. Yeah, so that's basically it for making bows, arrows, and quivers. Like I said, for quivers, you can just get a piece of PVC at Home Depot or Lowe's or wherever you can get PVC from, you know. And then you just you grab a cap for the end, like I said, you could do a cap instead of a piece of wood through the end of it. I don't know. I'm really kind of a cheapskate, so I don't really buy PVC. I just found that piece of PVC in my garage and then found that stick out here, just sharpened it up a bit. And so that's my quiver. This is me and my bow and my wood. So hey, that's it for this episode of how to make a bow and arrow. And then later, I guess I can show you how to fire it. It doesn't go very far, as you would imagine a homemade bow and arrow would go, but depending on how strong the stick is, how firm the string is, or how straight your arrows are, it could fly from about 5 to the furthest I've fired one of my arrows with the black rubber tip on it was about 16 to 20. I had 20 24 feet, I think it was. So yeah, I know that was pretty far. But hey.